Hello and welcome. Let's discuss a very important concept which is variable repo rate. You would have heard about repo rate. Repo rate is the rate at which RBI lends money to banks for short term. What's the difference between repo rate and variable repo rate? Look, repo rate is decided by Monetary Policy Committee. So if the current repo rate is 6%, it means if the banks will be borrowing from RBI, it will be at 6%. Variable repo rate. It means here the repo rate is not decided by RBI, but the repo rate is decided by the market. The variable repo rate is decided by the auctions. Now, if I talk about repo rate, generally the borrowing is for 1 day, overnight purposes. It can be for more than 1 day, but generally it is for like overnight purposes. But if it is for variable repo rate, generally the duration of borrowing is more than 1 day. That's starting from 2 days and goes up to 14 days. So if the borrowing is from 2 to 14 days, it will be coming under variable repo rate. But that doesn't mean it can be only up to 14 days. Depending upon the requirement, RBI can inject liquidity through variable repo rate by a duration of more than 14 days. For example, last year in April it happened, in April 2024 it happened, where RBI brought variable repo rate of 45 days or 49 days. So the duration can vary, but it will be for less than 1 year. Why is variable repo rate used? Why not repo rate? Look, if the banks think that the repo rate is a higher and the people are not willing to borrow at the current higher interest rate, they will not be borrowing further from RBI at a higher repo rate. They would be willing to borrow from RBI at lesser than the repo rate. So variable repo rate is lesser than the repo rate. It's market determined. It's lesser than the repo rate, but obviously it is higher than the reverse repo rate or SDF. The way we have variable repo rate, we can even have variable reverse repo rate. Alright, so how can RBI inject liquidity through variable repo rate? So if the RBI conducts more operations, more auctions through variable repo rate, then it can inject liquidity in the market. Alright, yeah, thanks.